Hi everyone, I'm again here with giving an explanation about another pattern named as template method, that which also comes under a behavioral pattern. So today's topic is about a pattern of template method. Before going to see about the templates of a template method, let us see about the introduction of a template method pattern. Coming to the introduction of this template method pattern, this template method pattern defines sequence of step of an algorithms. The subclass are allowed to override the steps but not allowed to change the sequence. And coming to the another definition of this template method, the key to the template method pattern is that we put the general logic in the abstract parent class and let the child class define the specifics. So this is the introduction. To justify this introduction, let us see the real time example for this template method pattern, that which makes very easy to understand about this template method pattern. The best example for this template method pattern is, I consider here preparing of a coffee. So, I want to prepare a coffee. I consider a powder of brew coffee. So, I want to prepare a coffee, in that I consider a brew coffee. Then what I have to do is, I want to boil the water and then I have to add the milk in that water and then add the sugar into that milk. After that I will add the powder of coffee. So I consider here coffee of brew. So I will add the powder of coffee. So by doing this procedure, the coffee will be prepared as a brew coffee. Suppose if I want to prepare a coffee of continental coffee. Suppose I want to prepare a continental coffee. I want to prepare the coffee of continental coffee. I prepared a brew coffee by using the procedure of boiling water, adding milk, add sugar and then add the coffee powder of brew coffee to make the brew coffee. Suppose if I want to prepare a continental coffee, what the procedure is? The same way which I have done for brew coffee. I will boil the water and then I will add the milk in that water and then I will add sugar and finally I will add the coffee powder of continental. So the continental coffee is ready to serve. If you see this example of preparing coffee, here the preparing of coffee is same. That means boiling water and adding milk in that water and adding sugar and adding the powder of coffee. Just we changed the powder of coffee, that's it. But the procedure is as same as we prepared for brew coffee is same for the continental coffee. Procedure of preparing coffee is same, but based on the request of our client, we will change the powder of coffee. So what can I do is, I can create a template method called prepare coffee. So I can define what kind of procedure to follow to prepare a coffee. That means the steps that has been created under template method is, add a hot water or boil water and then add a milk into that boiled water and then add a sugar and finally add a coffee powder as per the request of user, either a brew coffee or a continental coffee. By using these template, we can prepare any kind of coffee. The procedure is same, but the template has been changed. So based on that coffee powder, using these templates, using these steps, we are going to prepare a coffee. So this is the one of the best example to say under a template method, preparing a coffee by using a template method. So we have seen about the best example of preparing a coffee by using this template method. So let us go through about templates under this template method. In this, the first template is nothing but a intent. Coming to the intent of this template method, it defines the skeleton of an algorithm in an operation, defining some steps to subclasses. That means template method lets subclasses redefines in step of an algorithm without changing the algorithm structure. So, this is the intent of this template method. And then coming to the motivation of this template method, suppose I consider an example of an application framework that provides an application and a document classes. In that application class that is responsible for opening existing documents stored in an external format, such as a file that which does. Let us see about a document object. A document object is represents the information in a document once it reads from the file. And then coming to the application, it will build with the framework can subclasses applications and documents to suit specific needs. Let us see the example for this. I consider here a drawing an application defines a draw application and draw document subclasses. Draw document subclasses. In that a spreadsheet application defines a spreadsheet application and spreadsheet document subclasses. The abstract application class defines the algorithm for opening and reading a document in its open document operation. And in the same way, an open document defines each step for opening a document, that it checks if the document can be opened or creates application specific document objects, and also it adds it to its set of documents and it reads the documents from a file. We call open document a template method. This open document we call as a template method. In the template method, it defines an algorithm in terms of an abstract operations that subclasses override to provide concrete behavior. In subclasses defines step of algorithms that check if the document can be opened. That is nothing but an application document, an application class, and that it creates the document, that is nothing but create document in that application. In coming to the document class, it defines the step that reads the document that to do or do read. Coming to the template method, the template method also defines an operation that lets application subclass know when the document is about to be opened. In case they care about to open a document. In that way, by defining a sum of the steps of an algorithm using these abstract operation, the template method fixes their ordering, but it lets application and document subclasses vary those steps to suit their needs. So, this is one of the example we consider here, an application and a document in a motivation. Let us see the next template of our template method. Coming to our next template under template method is applicability. The template method pattern should be used to implement the invariant parts of an algorithms once and leave it up to subclasses to implement the behavior that can vary. We commonly when common behaviors among subclasses should be forced or factored and localized a common classes to avoid code duplication. And to control the subclasses extension, you can define a template method that calls hook operations at specific point, thereby permitting extension only at those particular points. Hook operations are nothing but hook operations are a way of adopting frameworks or components without stressing them unduly. So, these are the main applicabilities we can speak under this template method. And the next template is structure. Coming to the structure of this template method, in that we consider two classes, that is nothing but one main class is an abstract class and the next one is concrete class. We consider only two classes. In these abstract classes, It defines the abstract primitive operations that concrete subclasses defines to implement steps of an algorithm, and it implements a template method defining the skeleton of an algorithm. The template method calls primitive operations as well as operations defined in abstract class or those of their other objects. And coming to the concrete class, that is nothing but an myApplication class implements the primitive operations to carry out subclass specific steps of an algorithm. So, these are the two classes we consider in our structure of a template method. Based on this structure, we say that we have only two participants under this structure. Those are abstract class and concrete classes. So, we will say these two are the participants of a participants in a structure of a template method. And our next template is collaboration. Coming to the collaboration, concrete classes relies on abstract classes to implement the invariant steps of the algorithm. So, this is the collaboration we say under template method, and our next template is consequence. Coming to the consequences of an template method pattern, in this template method we have some of the consequences, that is the template methods are a fundamental techniques for code reuse. They are particularly important in class libraries because they are the mean for factoring out common behavior in library classes. And this template method leads to an inverted control structure that sometimes referred to as the holy principle, that is don't call us, we will call you. This refers to how a parent class calls the operations of a subclasses or not the other way around. These are the consequences we can say under this template method. Coming to the implementation of this template method, there are the three main implementation issues we can say under this template method. The first one is using C++ access control, and the next one is minimizing primitive operations, and the final one is naming conventions. Coming to the first one, using C++ access control. In this C++, the primitive operations that a template method call can be declared protected members. This ensures that they are only called by the template method. In these primitive operations that must be overridden are declared pure virtual, and the template methods itself should not behave hidden. Therefore, you can make the template methods in non-virtual member functions. And coming to the next one, minimizing primitive operations. In this, the important goal of this is designing template methods. It is to minimize the number of primitive operations, that is to minimize the number of primitive operations that a subclass must override to flesh out the algorithm. The more operation that need overriding, the more tedious things get for clients. And the next one is naming conventions. In this, we can identify the operation that should be overridden by adding a prefix to their names. So, these are the main three implementation issues we can say under this template method pattern. Pattern is related, next template is related pattern. Before going to see about related patterns, let us speak about the known uses of this template method. Template methods are so fundamental that they can be found in almost every abstract classes, and we are seeing these template methods in our daily programming language like in C++ or Java and so on. And then coming to our next template is related patterns. In this we speak about two templates, those are nothing but factory method and strategy. We say that factory methods are often called by template methods. In the motivation example, we have seen that the factory method do create document is called by the template method open document. So, we say that factory method will also follow this template method. Coming to the strategy, in this the template method uses inheritance to vary a part of an algorithm. Strategy uses delegations to vary the entire algorithm. So, that reason we say this strategy also follows to this template method. So, by considering these conditions, these two will become as in related patterns of this template method pattern, that is nothing but a factory method and strategy pattern. So, this is about our today's pattern, that is nothing but a template method. In this template method today we have seen about the introduction of a template method and then best example of a real time and a best example, and every day we are seeing the example in our daily life, that is nothing but a making of a coffee, for knowing and understanding this template method. And then we have spoken about the templates of this template method pattern, that is nothing but intent, motivation, applicability, structure, participants, collaboration, consequences and implementation. Along with that we have spoken about the known uses and related patterns of this and template method pattern. So, this is about the template method pattern.